Hello, this... Alright. I'm not talking to you, I'm not on the camera. I'm talking to them. So this is my 2015 Transit Custom that I bought 3 years ago for when I started getting into copter cam and doing a lot of drone work. And when I bought it, I built two boxes in here so that I could put them together and I could sleep in here when I stopped overnight in the middle of cities and places like that, because I don't really like to stop in hotels and leave all my expensive camera equipment in the van. And then I decided I needed to have power in here, so I put an inverter in so that I could charge all my batteries as we go along. And then it occurred to me, what I really need is a camper van, so I built one. I've built it to look a little bit stealth, so it doesn't really look like a camper van. I go all over the country with copter cam, and when a client wants me to be in a large city centre for 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to be driving around the country when everybody else is. I'd rather drive at night, pull up in a lay-by somewhere and kip in my van. But if you're going to do that, you've got to be stealthy. So as well as my thermal blinds, when I want to be stealthy, I've got a curtain that I hang on these hooks that are behind the van seats. So when you pull it across and you walk by the van, you would not know that there's anybody sleeping in this van. So one of the important things for me was that it didn't rattle around, and these transits are like large cars, they're really quiet, and I didn't want to destroy that. So I've insulated the whole van with Kingspan, and then I've also lined it with this lining material. The whole van was lined before I started fitting any furniture or electrics or anything like that. That was the first job I did, was lined it all.
Oh my word, what have I done? There's not a lot of straight lines in this van. It'll be alright. One job at a time, it'll be alright. We'll get there. Thank you. That's nice. You come to help, tidy up.
I've also installed a diesel heater, which meant dropping the diesel tank and installing a fuel line from the diesel tank from the diesel tank round to the diesel heater, which means I've always got heat, and it gets red hot. It doesn't matter what temperature it is outside, you can have it whatever temperature you like in here. Right, there we are. Diesel heater installed. Just got to sort out the wiring loom. That's the power for the pump and the diesel pipe coming up. I'll show you underneath. there's the pump, and there's a filter, and there's a pipe going off to the sender unit in the fuel tank. And then under here, that's the exhaust for the heater, and that's the air intake for the heater. And that's going to get nice and toasty. Beautiful job. Right, I better tidy up, I suppose, before it gets dark. When it came to the floor, I decided I wasn't going to put any insulation in because it takes up too much room, and we're a bit restricted for headspace in these vans. And I don't think you need them anyway. By the time you've got your 1/2 inch plywood and your Carndean flooring, and then the mats that you put on the floor, that's plenty of insulation to keep you warm enough. And it's proved to be right. I've stopped out in this van in freezing temperatures, and it has not been cold at all. In fact, I've had to turn the heater down on some night. The only thing that I didn't build in this van was this seat. I bought this from a company down in Chester, I think it was, Fan Beds, and they're electrically powered. And the good thing about these is they're cantilevered, so as the bed slides out, there's no legs on the front. So it means I can leave all my camera gear on the floor, and this bed folds out on top of it. I've also put this whole seat unit on slider rails, so that when I'm carrying passengers, I can slide the seat forward, and we've got a big storage space on the back of the van, which works surprisingly well. I was a bit sceptical to begin with, because this seat is really heavy, and I didn't think it was going to slide very well, but it slides really well. I'm really pleased with it. That's what you call a drawer runner. It's massive. The way these vans are designed, it leaves a big, long storage space at the bottom there, which is really difficult to get into from the back. So what I've done is put some long drawer runners on, and then the drawer pulls out, and we've got a big long storage that's easy to access on the back. Right, today we're going to make a table, and the table is going to go underneath there, so I need to make some runners for it to slide under. So better get on with it. Table and the worktop I made out of 7mm backboard that you buy for kitchens, and then I've just doubled the thickness up so it looks a bit thicker. And that works really well. I've also made a little bracket that sits on the side door so that we can use the table outside. So I haven't got to carry a separate table for when we want to camp outside. Good. Oh, we've also got an onboard water tank that's got 26 litres of water, fresh water in it, and I've made a water gauge on the back so that you can see what the level is. Pump. We've also got a shower by the side door, which I often need to use for her. Holly's rolling shit, and this is why I need a shower in the van. Oh, and we've got Holly's box as well, which goes between the seats, which is another load of storage for the holster to sit on, don't you? You sit on there, and that's why there's hairs everywhere. That's why my van is covered in hairs. So that's my camper. Time will tell how useful it'll prove to be, but I have to say it's been nice to be able to make a brew when I want one.